The Jedi Code is like an itch. He cannot help it.
Where is he?
Where the fun begins.
Hello there.
What's going on, guys? Unofficial Star Wars here, and welcome to our breakdown here of the teaser trailer for the Obi Wan Kenobi series. So without further ado, we're going to hop right on into it because there's just so much to talk about and unpack here. In case you haven't already seen, we also have a reaction video here on the channel as well that I had uploaded only a couple hours ago as of the time of recording this video. First things first, the rumors were actually true here. If you guys didn't already know, there was a rumor that had been going around for like the last couple of like 2-3 weeks now at this point in time that the Obi Wan Kenobi trailer would be coming out today on March 9th, 2022, because this is Disney's Investors Day, and well, here we are. Thankfully, those rumors were true. But without further ado, we're going to hop right on into it, and we are going to break down the Obi Wan Kenobi teaser trailer frame by frame. We of course begin on the planet of Tatooine, seen mostly in Star Wars, and the first episode for The Phantom Menace, Revenge of the Sith, in A New Hope, of course, and then countless other times within The Mandalorian Season 1, Season 2, and of course the Book of Boba Fett. And in the distance and within the city, we see Obi Wan Kenobi walking what's called an OP. It's pretty much just a Star Wars camel. And he seems to be washing or maybe crafting something in one of these shops that we see in the city. I'm assuming that's probably most Isley. Then we of course get some more cool shots of the sands of Tatooine. I think we saw plenty of Tatooine in the Book of Boba Fett, so it's going to be nice to get a little bit out of the planet of Tatooine once again. Here we see Obi-Wan is sitting here in a canyon, like a valley type of thing. Now, before we get too ahead of myself right here, in this scene right here, in this still right here that we had just gone over, we actually hear something from Obi-Wan, and he says that, in quotes, the fight is done, and in this case, he's referring to the Clone Wars, the end of the Clone Wars. And mind you, the Obi-Wan Kenobi show is taking place 10 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith. That there would be 10 years after the events of the Clone Wars. So it sounds like to me, maybe he hasn't even gotten over it. I really wouldn't expect his character to get over the Clone Wars at this point in time. And as for what he says when he's sitting here in this little valley right here, this little opening, for one thing, as we can tell and see from the next shot there, is that I'm guessing that he's actually in the mountains there, actually spying on a young Luke Skywalker, which we see in just a moment. But he also mentions that they had lost, and in this sense, yes, once again, he is quoting back, or at least referring back towards the Clone Wars once again, and that how the Republic, and not only just the Republic, but also how the Jedi Order has also fallen and actually lost during the war. Our two biggest takeaways from these two, I guess, quotes right here in the first, like, what, 30 seconds of the overall trailer is that we're going to hopefully definitely get some flashbacks here towards the Clone Wars with Anakin Skywalker, Hayden Christensen, and having Obi-Wan Kenobi. Maybe even Rosario Dawson's live action Ahsoka Tano, I think, would be absolutely amazing. Continuing on with the trailer here, as I had mentioned, we have Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's spying on a young Luke Skywalker at the Lars homestead. Now, the Lars, Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, are the uncle and aunt of Anakin Skywalker. Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, well, Uncle Owen at least, is actually the stepbrother of Anakin Skywalker, so that there's how these kind of characters are all kind of connecting. Lucasfilm logo, of course, except it's just a lot like the opening of the Obi-Wan Kenobi title, and it has that sand that makes it fade away. All things considered, pretty self-explanatory. Now, this is where we're going to get into some of the more interesting, juicy stuff. We're having Inquisitors now starting to pop up here, and this is where you kind of need to go back and watch Star Wars Rebels. I'm going to highly, highly recommend this. Now, we see a shuttle that's very, very similar to what we see Director Krennic's shuttle be in Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. Very similar to the Kenobi concept art that we had a couple months ago. We then get a huge reveal of the Grand Inquisitor finally making his appearance within the live-action franchise or spectrum of things here in the Star Wars franchise. So, who is the Grand Inquisitor? He's essentially, well, it's in the title of his name. He's the Grand Inquisitor, and he's essentially the leader of all the different Inquisitors, and he's essentially a level down from Darth Vader. Now, he works for Darth Vader, essentially. He's first seen in 2014 Star Wars Rebels, Rebels, so I'd highly recommend you guys go check out Star Wars Rebels and take a look at that, watch that show if you haven't already. On top of that, a little bit of a spoiler alert here for Star Wars Rebels. Star Wars Rebels takes place after the events of the Obi Wan Kenobi show, so that's why it makes sense for the Grand Inquisitor to be popping up here for the Kenobi show. Furthermore, on top of that, for all of you guys that are out there complaining or saying that he looks absolutely god-awful in live action, I'm just gonna put this here. The point being is that the characters are going to look different from their animation styles. That's all I have to say about that. Moving right along, we see a pretty junky looking speeder, and it's traveling along the sands of Tatooine, and we see Obi-Wan, who's just sitting here with a bunch of random residents of Tatooine. He's simply trying to blend in and hide. Our next shot here, we have a look here at 3 different Inquisitors here. We have the 5th brother, who's very recognizable from Star Wars Rebels, as it's his first live action look here in the Star Wars franchise, much like the Grand Inquisitor. And then we also have one off to the left from him. I'm not sure who she's supposed to be. We haven't seen her before. And then we also have the new Inquisitor here, who's seen quite a bit throughout some of the promo images here we had earlier on in the day, of course, depending on when you're watching this video. And she seems to be playing quite a substantial role within the Obi Wan Kenobi show. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there. She's more than likely to die. I just kind of feel like that they're setting her character up like that, especially since we never see her in Star Wars Rebels. I'll have a separate video out talking a little bit more about her, but essentially her name is Reva. Continuing on, it also seems that she puts on quite a display within what I'm assuming is Mos Eisley, as she's essentially holding somebody up in the air, and I'm guessing maybe force choking them, as she's trying to, I guess, display fear into these people here as she's on the search here for Obi Wan Kenobi. Uncle Owen is also in the midst of the crowd here. We seem to go off the world of Tatooine as we find ourselves on the lower levels of Coruscant, as she's once again seemingly to be on the hunt for Obi-Wan Kenobi. We get another look there at that same shuttle there, and we see an officer walking off. Maybe she'll be playing a significant role within the upcoming series, who knows, and I'm just gonna might as well throw it out there. Maybe she could be working for Thrawn, who could also be somewhere around in this timeline here. We could very well see Thrawn show up here in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. We see an Inquisitor kind of pacing along with Obi-Wan Kenobi on the lower levels of Coruscant, and it leads me to believe that maybe a big fight between all the different Inquisitors is going to break out as we see closer at the end of the trailer here. We'll get to that in just a moment. This droid here that we see talking to the Stormtrooper seems to be very Imperial-like, and furthermore reminds me quite a bit of the one and only K2SO that we see in Star Wars Rogue One. My guess is that if for anything, this is an earlier model of that same Imperial droid, which are Imperial security droids, in case you didn't know. Just a random theory or guess to kind of throw out there as we get another angle or another shot here of what appears to be that same Imperial security droid, is that it's like reaching for its blaster, so maybe this one like turns, I guess, good or something and starts working with Obi-Wan Kenobi or something like that. I'm not completely sure. Reva jumping across the rooftops here, which is always pretty cool. Another look here at the Grand Inquisitor as he's interrogating somebody, and I have my fair share of theories and speculations to throw out there. I'll throw out a couple ones, and it's kind of odd from where people are kind of gathering some of these theories and speculations from who he's interrogating here, but a common one I've heard that's going around is that this is either Rex or Cody, and it's simply because of the shape of the person's head, which resembles a lot of Tamora Morrison. I'm not completely sure why, but I have to agree with them. Or that it very well could be Mace Windu as well, simply for the fact that they're bald. It's definitely hard to tell, but I'll also point out that it appears that this person's wearing glasses, and I'm really not completely sure where to go from there. I'll have a separate video talking a little bit more about that, but let's continue on. We get a pretty sick looking shot here of Sung Kang's character. I believe it's the 5th brother, of course, and he's from Fast and Furious. We then get a quick glance here at 2 escape pods, I guess, just flying through space. I really wonder who could be aboard them. Uncle Owen seemingly running away from Reva as she ignites her lightsaber. Don't worry, guys, I don't think he's gonna die. Somebody seems to be examining some artwork or some words here on the side of a wall. I'm guessing it's Reva, and I'm not completely sure what this artwork or anything is. Then get a glimpse of Reva going down a valley and being stopped by somebody with a blaster. Now, this honestly could be anybody, but I've seen a lot of good fan favorite, I guess, theories out there, and it's something I'm going to cover in a separate video, go a little more in depth on it, of course. But a few of my guesses is that this very well could be Lando or Han Solo or Andor, Cassian Andor. It could also be either one of the clones, Captain Rex, Wolf, or Cody. All very, I guess, legit people to kind of throw out there. But my top one out there has to either be Han Solo or Cad Bane. But as I had mentioned, it's something I'm going to go into a separate video. We then cut to the one and only Obi-Wan Kenobi on top of a rooftop in the middle of a blaster fight using a blaster, and one of the things explodes on top of the roof, unveiling a bunch of pigeons, or spaceship pigeons, I guess, at that. Although I honestly highly doubt it. A common theory I've been seeing going around is that this here would be the Owl of Morai, and this is essentially what the daughter is, her life essence is put inside of this, and it befriends Ahsoka Tano, so maybe it could be a reference to her, although I highly doubt it. It then, of course, cuts one last time to Obi Wan Kenobi before displaying the Obi Wan Kenobi title, and if you listen very, very closely, you can hear Darth Vader's breathing, which is absolutely chilling. The only other big thing I think I might have missed in today's breakdown is that when we do see the Lucasfilm logo here being displayed, is that the song switches to Duel of the Fates, which is very, very important from 1999's The Phantom Menace, from when we see Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Darth Maul. And sure, while the song is very iconic to the Star Wars franchise, they don't just throw it in there just to have it in there. I feel like that they very well could be hinting at Darth Maul popping up somewhere here in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. It makes sense, the time aligns here. We see Darth Maul's final death scene there in Star Wars Rebels. Although, to be completely honest with you guys, something very popular that I've been seeing going around is that people don't want Darth Maul to show up whatsoever in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. They think that he was perfectly done here in the Star Wars Rebels show. I'm not completely sure on how I feel about that. I think it would be wasted opportunity if he didn't show up somewhere in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, maybe to make some type of cameo. And so with that, I want to know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below here, guys. What did you guys think here about the Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer? What did you guys notice that maybe I didn't catch here in today's video necessarily? And of course, on top of it, I'd absolutely love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Some of the things that you might like to see here in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, and what you also thought overall here about the Kenobi trailer. Drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it, as it really does help with the channel, and check out our Instagram, Unofficial Star Wars, for more Star Wars related content, guys. Thanks so much for watching today's video. As always, may the Force be with you. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great day or a great night. Peace out.